Chats. Welcome back to another episode of Chat About Tay. I'm your host, Bella, and in this episode, we're going to be chatting about the Easter eggs in the Fate of Ophelia music video. So, in my last episode, I talked about how we got to see the Fate of Ophelia music video at the Party of a Showgirl movie, and then Taylor released that video on YouTube for everyone to see. And since that video has been out, there have been so many Easter eggs found in this music video. So I'm going to just go through the music video kind of like shot by shot and talk about all the different Easter eggs that are in there. And then we'll talk about the symbolism as well. So the music video opens up with the foyer, and you can see that the lobby is sort of mirrored. So the Fate of Ophelia pictures are sort of reflected like in the mirrors. And then there's a janitor in the background kind of nodding to that Taylor liked to hide in the cart, like a cleaning cart, before she went on stage at the Eras Tour. And then there are also some dancers from the Eras Tour as well in there. And then on the back wall of the foyer, there's also posters. One reads Wood, which is a track title. Another one shows Taylor holding an opalite. And then another one reads Female Rage, because Taylor posted Female Rage, the musical. And that was one of her Instagram captions during the Eras Tour. And then there's a giant chandelier as well that's sort of over top a picture of Taylor as well, that she's standing next to two men, and people think that that's probably Max Martin and Shellback. And then when they go into the painting, Taylor is recreating that famous Ophelia painting as well. And then she poses, and an orange bird flies across the frame, and that can kind of be a nod to her wearing orange in the Look What You Made Me Do music video, and that she's in a cage, so maybe she's like this orange bird that has been free now. And also on the table you can see a peach, which is referring to the line in Life of a Showgirl saying you're sweeter than a peach. And then the pearls as well. There's a line from that song that says, I hung her pearls of wisdom around my neck. And then there's also a loaf of bread, which Taylor actually baked for the music video. So she was very excited. And then there's a cat statue in the background as well, referencing her three cats. And then there's a chalkboard with the track titles on them as well. And there's one that says like 7.AR, which is actually romantic. So there's little nods to the track titles in that section as well. And then there's a poster that says Sequins Are Forever. And then it lists collaborators like Sabrina Carpenter, Max Martin, and Shellback. And then the next scene is where Taylor is wearing that red outfit and she looks like Marilyn Monroe. And in that scene, there's a picture of Travis on the mirror, and it's actually from it's like a screenshot from his Kiss, Marry, Kill video where he said he wanted to marry Taylor Swift. So that's kind of a cute nod. And then I believe there's also a picture of Marjorie in there as well. And then we move into the sequence where she's dancing in the black dress and she has a black wig on. She's referencing the Ronettes. And then we get to one of my favorite scenes, which is her on the ship. And so there's lots of Ophelia imagery. Her Eras Tour backup dances are there as well. There are 87s kind of put all around the video as well. You'll see those numbers pop up, and 87 is Travis's number that he has on his jersey. And then on the director's clapboard, it says Sequins Are Forever, take 100. And then the initials of the 12 track titles also appear there. And then we go to that amazing scene with all of the dancers in the bathing suits. And I don't really believe there were any like specific Easter eggs in that section of the music video, but I do think that that was such a cool sequence, and I just absolutely loved that, and I loved her outfit in there. And then we go to the bridge where she is wearing that rope dress, and it's very, very much Elizabeth Taylor vibes with the hair and the way she's leaning and everything. So that's obviously a nod to Elizabeth Taylor. And then she's walking through confetti with her sparkly dress on and her fuzzy coat, which is obviously a nod to Lavender Haze when she wears that fluffy coat in the music video and on the Eras Tour. And then that jacket was actually a merch item that you could buy, but it sold out before I could grab it. And then somebody in that scene in the hotel hallway has a pink purse with a chihuahua inside. So that's obviously calling back to Actually Romantic, where she says, you're like a tiny toy chihuahua barking at me from a tiny purse. So I thought that was funny. And then she catches a football, obviously nodding to Travis Kelce. And then again, there's that number 87 that's appearing quite often on the door and in other parts And then the paparazzi are flashing at her when she goes into the room. And those people obviously were her Eras Tour family, and some of her band members are also there as well. And then when it pans to the bathroom, you can actually see an Oscar statue on the floor, which is referencing Wishlist. And then the sink apparently is supposed to look sort of similar to like The Shining. That's what a couple people said. And then there's an opalite stone on the edge of the bathtub. And then she's submerged into the bathtub and has her, head out, which is obviously referencing that painting from Ophelia, but then it's also the album cover as well. It's the same outfit she's wearing on the album cover. And then apparently there's also an orange bird that flies past in the end as well. And then a few additional Easter eggs that I was able to find since recording that previous section. There is a clipboard that says Kitty Finlay, and Kitty is obviously the persona from the Life of a Showgirl song. And then Finlay is also Taylor's grandmother's surname. And then some of the choreography as well is also nodding back to the Eras Tour choreography. And then when she is wearing that red Marilyn Monroe outfit as well, the chair that she's sitting on looks very similar to the chair from the Vigilante shit portion of the Eras Tour as well. So her sitting on that doing, choreography on the chair, kind of invoking that as well. So this whole music video, she's really going through different eras of showgirls, and she's also really evoking the Ophelia character as well. So obviously from the beginning, she's laying down in that white dress, and that's really evoking the painting of Ophelia. When she goes into wear that Marilyn Monroe outfit and and the look, she has styles of the Ronettes, and then she's dressed very much like Ophelia with that beautiful silver dress where she's on the ship, and then she has the bathing suit, which is a nod to those old timey videos where they do like the synchronized swimming dances and stuff. And then she also has that look of Elizabeth Taylor in that one section, and then it ends with like herself, like she is the showgirl, and she's wearing an outfit that's very similar to the ones that she wore on the Eras Tour. At the end when she goes into the bathtub, it's evoking Ophelia, but it's also showing how at the end of every Eras Tour that she would take a bath and everything. So there's just so many Easter eggs and so many cool things in this video, and I think this is, like I said last time, I think this is one of her greatest music videos. I think, the budget for this was probably the most out of any of the music videos. It was definitely the most elaborate, had the most extras. And if this is just any indication of where Taylor is going with this album and with future albums and future music videos, I am so excited to see them. And it's just it's just such a cool music video. And then so there are also some other connections. So the bathtub scene could also maybe be a callback to the Look What You Made Me Do music video where she's in the bathtub. There's lots of mirror imagery, which is kind of similar to the Antihero music video. And then there's lots of like stage aesthetics as well with, kind of like her Bejeweled music video. And then the Ophelia reference, obviously, which is also another Shakespeare play, which Love Story was also based off of a Shakespeare play. So, there's a lot of, similarities and things to other music videos and kind of callbacks to different things. And, she kind of teased the whole showgirl era in the Bejeweled music video, where she goes up to the elevator, she's doing that dance with Gita Von Teese, and at the end, she's really that showgirl, on the stage and everything. So she is so smart with her Easter eggs and everything. I just absolutely love this. I just think it's such a cool music video, and there's just so many Easter eggs. I'm probably missing some. I definitely don't think I picked up everything, but that was everything that I could find from videos, TikTok, YouTube, all that stuff. But she is so smart, and apparently there's over 100 Easter eggs, and I don't even think I cracked the surface of that many Easter eggs. But to just go back through before I get to the next part of this episode. So lots of classic Ophelia imagery with the first dress that she's wearing with those paintings. She's recreating two of the paintings. And then there's so many nods to Travis with her football, the 87s everywhere, them having a picture of him in the dressing room scene. And then there's lots of references to the other tracks with the chalkboard, saying Life of a Showgirl, the little chihuahua, the Oscars statue, the opalite, the peach, and, having the track numbers and names on the walls. And then she just evokes a lot of classic showgirl themes with Marilyn Monroe, the Ronettes, Budsby Berkeley, cabaret costumes, and, just the traditional, like Vegas showgirl look as well. And then she also has a lot of exit signs, which have been talked about and noticed since the album artwork came out. So we're not really sure what the exit signs mean quite yet. But I'm hoping it means that she's not leaving the music industry, which she's not. I don't even know why I thought that for a second, because she said that she's not going to be stopping music when she gets married. She's going to keep making music as long as she can. But I'm just interested to see what like the exit means. But I'm thinking it might mean like this is the end of a specific era. The Eras Tour era is over. And then there's obviously some connections to her past work and tours with the Vigilante shit performance, the fuzzy coat with Lavender Haze, and then some of the choreography and stuff as well. So that, I think, concludes the Life of a Showgirl Easter egg portion of the podcast. But I do want to talk about something that Taylor announced the other day, and I'm so excited about it. She is doing a 6-part docu-series on the Eras Tour, and she's going to be also giving us a new version of the Eras Tour, which is the final performance of the Eras Tour, and it will include the entirety of that performance with the addition of the Tortured Poets Department section of the Eras Tour. So we are getting so much content from Taylor. So this is going to be coming out in December on Disney Plus, and it's going to be called Taylor Swift: The Eras Tour: The End of an Era, and it's going to premiere on December 12th, and then it will have additional releases throughout the month of December as well. So she announced this on Good Morning America, and it's really going to just give a look into the Eras Tour, the behind the scenes, what she was doing during the Eras Tour. I'm hoping we'll get some behind the scenes footage of her recording not just Life of a Showgirl, but also the Tortured Poets Department, because she did record that during the Eras Tour. She's also going to be showing some behind the scenes of some of the guests that she had. So Gracie Abrams, Ed Sheeran, and of course Sabrina Carpenter. There's probably going to be talks of, her breakup and, finding, Travis and everything, because she met Travis. Their relationship started like during the Eras Tour. So I'm hoping it might have a little bit more insight into them. Obviously, I don't want to pry into her life or anything. Everybody deserves their privacy, but I'm hoping that there'll be a little bit more information maybe about how they met. And there's definitely going to be some behind the scenes of Travis going on stage at the Eras Tour. So that's going to be really cool. And so I'm just really excited for this. So her Instagram post read, "It was the end of an era and we knew it. We wanted to remember every moment leading up to the culmination of the most important and intense chapter of our lives. So we allowed filmmakers to capture this tour and all the stories woven throughout it as it wound down, and to film the final show in its entirety. The Eras Tour, the final show featuring the entire Tortured Poets Department set, and the first 2 episodes of The End of an Era, a 6-episode behind-the-scenes docuseries, will be yours December 12th on Disney+." So that's what she had to say about it, and this is just so exciting. So I will be doing episodes on each of the episodes of the docuseries. I'm hoping to record them as quickly as I can. I do believe one of them is coming out the day after Christmas, so that might be a little bit hard to film that one. But so that might be a little difficult. But I'm gonna try. And also Taylor is just, oh, she is cutting into my Stranger Things plans, because Stranger Things is also coming out around the same time. So she's gonna have some competition with Stranger Things, but I am very, very excited. So I know this episode was a bit shorter than the other ones, but I'm just so excited. We are gonna get so much more content, and I'm really, really hoping that Taylor releases a couple more music videos, because the Tortured Poets Department only had one music video, which I understand because she was on tour, but now I'm hoping that she has already filmed some more music videos. I would be shocked if she does not do a music video for Opalite. I think that's probably what she's going to do. I could see her maybe doing Wishlist as a single because she said that's her favorite song on the album. And then I'm thinking like maybe one or two more. If I had to guess, I could see her maybe doing a music video for Father Figure. I'm trying to think other. I mean, people really like Wood, so that might be a good music video. She could also do one maybe for Elizabeth Taylor. I mean, she could really do one for any of these songs, but I think if I had to guess, the next two or at least two music videos that she's definitely going to do are going to be Opalite and Wishlist. So those are the ones that I think she's going to do next. So I know that that was like the Sabrina Carpenter album, short and sweet, but I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you learned about a couple more Easter eggs from the Fate of Ophelia music video. I hope that you are as excited as me about the docuseries coming out. And as always, stay safe, stay classy, and I'll chat again with you soon. Goodbye. If you enjoyed this episode, you can find us on Spotify, Good Pods, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. See you there.